Musenga, and I'm a spoken word poet from Lusaka, Zambia. So I'm just visiting Edinburgh, especially particularly for the festival, the Carnival Festival, yes. So I have a really brief poem, which will be recited from memory, which is entitled Fairytales. So, yeah. So she asked me, "Daddy, could you tell me a bedtime story?" So I looked at my daughter with a passionate paternal smile, just a slight elevation at the corner of my mouth, and I said, "Sure, baby girl, I'll tell you a story." And she said, "Can you tell me a bedtime story? In fact, do fairy tales exist?" And I said, "Of course fairy tales exist." "Then can you tell me about you and mommy's fairy tale?" "Okay, our fairy tale." "Yes, you know, the one about the talking animals and the fairy creatures and all those things in cartoons." And I was like, "All right, sure. Let me tell you our fairy tale." So, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, mommy was the beauty to this beast. But wow. A glass slipper dame in the finest of wear, was she aware of the radiance in her hair, Snow White in her purity and jasmine in her eyes, a sleeping beauty I had to wake while she lies. She was stunning, I was tased, she was sweet sprinkled and glazed, and she blazed and lit up the sky with fireworks in her strides, beauty personified. Sugar, spice, and everything nice, these were the ingredients to make the perfect wife. You see, mommy was a cute girl. A little shy, but that made her cute. She'd make all the loudmouth men on the street go mute. You could only measure her curves using a compass pointing to the east, never to the west, because she was not the worst of sunsets. In fact, she was a fairly floating fairy who was a cherry in a very blurry world of worry. But what mommy didn't know is that pixie dust is addictive. You see, she lined it up in rows and she sniffed it. She snorted up fairy dust, rolled it up in a blunt, and she was vaping magic. You see, mommy didn't know that the more she whiffed it and sniffed it, that she was losing her will, writing her will, and her funeral was guest list. So who do you think mommy was in this story? You see, mommy was the little mermaid who had an aerial that could tune into new feeds. She was Rapunzel with the weaves, losing all her hairpins. But who do you think daddy was in this story? Well, I don't mean to brag, but daddy was Prince Charming. Dashing with the charm, and Aladdin who was ready to save his Jasmine from harm, or a King Triton, or a Puss in Boots who was aloof. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but, well, let me be honest with you, little one. Mommy was Little Red Riding Hood. Daddy was the big, bad wolf. You see, I was Maleficent. I was the Gaston she dread. I was the Wicked Witch of the West. I was the evil spirit saying, "Off with your head." See, I was no fairy godmother. I was the evil stepmother. No Jiminy Cricket to Pinocchio. I was the one that had Geppetto smothered. You see, there are no strings that hold me now. For every lie I told, my nose would grow, for there are no strings on me. You see, every night, our love was like a Transylvanian vampire, because every night it would lay in a coffin. I invited her to my gingerbread house, and of course I threw her into the oven. So fee, fi, fo, fum was the sound each time this giant would walk. Mommy's dreams and ambitions reached the sky, but I chopped down her beanstalk. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little, but we never really had a perfect ending, neither did we get together. So we didn't actually have fairy creatures or talking animals, and that's because, baby girl, fairy tales don't exist. And since me and mommy never really got together, that means you, baby girl, you are a fairy tale. And fairy tales don't exist. So I watched my daughter fade away into pixie dust. And I guess the bedtime story was really for me. Thank you.